There is a financial mistake so small that it never shows up as a problem on any budget. It never triggers any alarms and it never feels like the kind of decision that compounds into something significant. It happens at the gas station, it happens at the grocery checkout, at the fast food drive through on the way home from work. It happens, in the 5 seconds before a small purchase when a small voice says, this isn't really worth it, and you buy it anyways, not because you're responsible and not because you don't care about money, but because $5 feels too small to matter. And the entire architecture of modern retail is built around that feeling because in aggregate, it absolutely does matter. And here's the real cost of the $5 mistake: the psychology that makes it invisible, and the mental shift that changes your relationship with small spending permanently. What $5 actually costs. And let me give you the number that reframes every small purchase you make for the rest of your life. Then I'll explain exactly where it comes from. $5 spent impulsively every single day is 18.25 per year. Invested instead at 7% average annual return, approximately what a diverse index fund has historically delivered over the long term. That 18.25 per year becomes $91,000 over 20 years. Over 30 years it becomes 184,000. Over 40 years it becomes 356,000. This is not a theoretical number. This is the standard compound interest calculation applied to $5 per day, which is the amount most people spend on impulsive small purchases without even noticing. A gas station snack here, a coffee shop drink that wasn't in the plan there, a convenience item that cost three times what the same item costs at the grocery store because it was right there and it was easy. The $5 is not the cost of the purchase. The $5 is the opportunity cost of the investment it could have been. And the opportunity cost is the most invisible number in personal finance because it has no invoice and no statement and no notification. It is simply the version of your financial future that didn't happen because of the decision that did. And here's why small purchases are psychologically invisible. The reason the $5 mistake persists despite the math being straightforward is not ignorance, it's psychology. And several well documented psychological mechanisms make small purchases feel categorically different from large ones in ways that override rational financial thinking. The first is what behavioral economics call the denomination effect. Research consistently shows that people are significantly more reluctant to break a large bill than to spend small denominations or use a card. So a $100 bill feels like a meaningful financial asset. A $5 bill feels like something you carry for incidental use. And the denomination effect extends to digital payments too. A $5 tap on a phone or a $5 charge on a card has essentially zero psychological friction compared to handling over a $50 bill for a $5 purchase. So the payment format, it strips the transaction of the resistance that would exist if money felt more real at the moment of purchase. Then the second mechanism is mental bucketing. The human brain categorizes purchases into implicit buckets, major financial decisions, and everyday expenses, and treats items in each bucket accordingly to complete different decision making processes. And major financial decisions get analyzed, compared, and deliberated, and everyday expenses get purchased on autopilot. Once a purchase lands in the everyday expense bucket, which is determined almost entirely by its dollar amount, not its actual impact, the deliberation mechanism doesn't activate. And $5 is almost universally categorized as everyday, regardless of its cumulative impact. The third mechanism is the present bias, the tendency to weigh immediate, tangible benefits much more heavily than distant, abstract ones. The coffee in your hand right now is real, immediate, and satisfying. The $91,000 that daily coffee money could become in 20 years is distant, hypothetical, and it feels completely different. Person's reality. Present bias is why people who fully understand the compound interest math still make the small impulse purchase. The math lives a part of the brain that processes abstractions, and the impulse lives in the part of the process immediate rewards. And in the moment, the immediate reward almost always wins. The categories where $5 mistakes accumulate the fastest too. The $5 mistake is not a single type of purchase. It's a type of pattern that shows up differently for different people and in different categories. Here are the four where it accumulates most aggressively. Convenience premiums, the purchase of any item at a price that is significantly higher than its actual market value because the allocation is convenient or the time investment to find it cheaper feels too high. A $4 water bottle at the airport versus the 30-cent cost of filling a reusable bottle at the fountain. A $7 single serve bag of chips from the hotel minibar versus the $2 multi pack at the grocery store 3 blocks away. A $12 parking lot versus the $4 street parking 4 minutes further. These convenience premiums feel like small prices to pay for ease, and individually they are. And systematically, they represent hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in premium payments for the same goods and experiences available at a fraction of the cost. Subscription neglect. The $7 streaming service you haven't opened in 3 months, the $9 app subscription that was useful once and now runs silently, the $5 monthly donation to a cause you signed up to support during a moment of enthusiasm and you forget about it. Each one is too small to bother canceling. Together, though, they represent money leaving your account monthly for nothing received. And this is the $5 mistake. And it's a purest form, not even a purchase, not an automated transfer to service you've stopped using. Food impulse purchases, the candy bar at the checkout, the energy drink at the gas station, the pastry at the coffee shop when you ordered only a coffee. These are the most satisfying versions of the $5 mistake because they deliver an immediate sensory reward that makes the cost feel entirely worth it in the moment. They are also most systematically predictable. The same person makes the same impulse purchases at the same type of trigger location with remarkable consistency, which means addressing the pattern rather than each individual incident is what changes the outcome. Delivery and convenience fees. The $4 delivery fee on a $15 food order. The five express shipping options on something that could wait 3 days for free. The $6 service fee on a ticket purchase that could have been bought at the venue box office. These fees are ubiquitous, accepted as normal, and almost never evaluated against the actual value of the convenience they provide. And someone who pays the $5 in delivery fees 3 times per week is spending $780 per year in fees alone, not on food, on the fees. And here's the mental framework that stops it. Knowing the math doesn't change the behavior. Knowing the psychology doesn't change the behavior. What changes behavior is a single repeatable mental shift that happens in the moment of the purchase before the money even moves. The shift is called the investment translation. Before any unplanned small purchase, ask one question: would I rather have this now? Or would rather have the invested version of this in 20 years? The question doesn't require calculation. It doesn't require willpower. It requires only that the purchase be translated from its immediate form into its long term form. And that translation makes the opportunity cost visible in a way that compound interest math never does from a distance. You are not deciding between a $5 snack and $91,000. The brain rejects the framing as absurd. You are deciding between the specific snack at the specific moment and a slightly better financial future. A small concrete increment of the freedom that compounded investing builds over time. That framing is manageable. It activates the deliberation process, that the denominator effect, the mental bucket suppressed. And in many cases, not all, but many, the deliberation produces a different answer than the autopilot would have. And the goal is not to stop all small spending. It's to move small spending from autopilot to deliberate. Deliberate small spending can absolutely include the $5 coffee and the $4 delivery fee and the occasional convenience premium. Deliberate means you choose it. Autopilot means you chose you. The audit that shows your own pattern. One specific exercise that makes this concrete: Pull your last 30 days of card transactions and highlight every purchase under $15. Count them, add them up. Look at the categories most people who do this exercise for the first time find between $150 and $400 in small purchases that they have essentially no memory of making. Not because they're irresponsible, but because small purchases don't encode in memory the way large ones do. And the denomination effect and the mental bucket ensure that most small purchases vanish from conscious recollection within hours of being made. And the audit makes the pattern visible. And once the pattern is visible, it becomes a decision rather than just a default. And that shift from default to decision is the entire behavior change this video is making the case for. The $5 mistake costs thousands, not because each instance matters, but because the pattern is invisible. Make the pattern visible. The math takes care of the rest. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out this one to the right. And if you really like this video, please subscribe. We're looking to build this channel, and we can't do it without you. We'll see you on the next one.